situation here in Charleston, West Virginia. This is people in the community who have stopped by, and we were sharing different stories. I myself am new to this area, and this is one of my neighbors. And
Hi.
do you want to say your name or do
Angel Gunwater.
Okay, she's lived here all of her life, and she was explaining how the coal mines have been what has fed them, and how the chemicals in this area has always been here, in the difficult things that go on, and some of the precautions that were supposed to be in place. If you could tell us again.
The southern part of West Virginia is known as the coal fields. The northern part of West Virginia is the lumber that everybody cut for natural resources and lumber, things like that. I grew up in the southern coal fields of West Virginia in Boone County. Everybody I knew's dad worked for the coal mines. The chemicals here are a lot of them for processing the coal to make it so that we can have electricity. For as long as I can remember, coal has been a very controversial issue. There's in Charleston, I moved from Boone County to Charleston in Kanawha County in 1988. There were several people that was anti-coal. They were what we called tree huggers. We were all raised conservative, Ruby Ridge conservative in the southern part of West Virginia. That's just the way it was, that if we didn't have coal, we wouldn't eat, we wouldn't have nothing. And so we sacrificed our health, our dad's health, for food. I mean, that's what we were told. And so this is nothing new. And then here in the Kanawha Valley, there is several plants. Like I was just telling Angela that there used to be an institute, which is about 10 miles, west of here. There was a chemical plant that down there, I can't think of the name of it, but they made the same chemical that leaked in Bhopal, India. And I've been told in the last 5 years that they've stopped making it. And that's the chemical that is a blue mist that hovers low on the ground. And every Thursday in that area down there, and you can hear it, like I said, we're about 10 miles away east from them, on the last Thursday of the month, there's a siren that goes off. And what that means is they're testing it, but when the siren goes off, that means you have to shelter in place. And I started school across from that chemical plant back in 1990. And I remember 2 or 3 times in the several years that I went to school there on and off being sheltered into place, and it never turned out to be anything big. So the water leak is probably the craziest thing that has happened, but there's individual cases that you hear of people's family who worked, whether they were in the coal mines or the chemical companies, and that there was small leaks and that they've died. None that right off the top of my head, I mean, I could look them up and tell you who they are. But it was something that we had to do to sacrifice in order to live. Throughout the years, coal mines have been cutting back. My father was part of the Patriotic Coal who lost his pension. My friend BJ lost his job at Dow because of outsourcing. He was had to leave. Again, I mean, it's what we did. So we get nervous through the years, and I'm 41 years old, that we've seen people who made great money who now even the bad jobs aren't here. So we fear that when something like this happens, who all is going to lose their jobs, and what will we do? We don't like it, but we really don't know what much to do from it. It don't feel good thinking that, well, today if somebody don't feel good and they're hungover and they screw up at work, that we could all die. That's a very scary situation to think about, but I'm used to it. So to me, for Angela and her mom to be so shocked and so scared, and I am scared, don't get me wrong, it's not new. That's just something we've always been used to. Also, it's always been known in this valley, it's called Chemical Valley. There's Dow here, there's Monsanto. I think they've changed their name. I don't really keep up on it because I'm not much of a tree hugger. I already said that. I'm not ignorant to what could happen. It's just that's the way it is. But it's been known for a long time that if there was certain places that what they were making, if there was a leak, depending on which way the wind blew, within a 3-hour radius, every person basically would be dead. And that's just, I mean, that's always been the way it was. And basically always will be the way it is. I'm an artist, so coal mining, I like to say this, put me through art school. And so all my artists hate coal and they hate conservatives and they're all liberals. But at the same time, I've experienced both sides. And I really don't know how I feel about that. I mean, really, when I think about it, I mean, they want it to be done. They don't want mountaintop removals. They don't want leaks into the, the streams, and I don't either. But you tell me, how are these people that within 30 miles south of here that I could go, what are those people going to do? Where are they supposed to go? What are they going to eat? I mean, welfare can only do so much. And I mean, are we all supposed to just give up and go on welfare? I mean, after I lost my good job with the union, now I'm poor like them. So I've experienced both. I've made the money that you can make in this valley, and then I lost my job, and now I have nothing. And so I know what that feels like, and it's very depressing. So it's like, how do you safely make these chemicals and do this stuff, but not endanger people's lives? You can contact me and do that. Like, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's kind of a little bit of a rant, but that's how I feel. I mean, that's how other people feel. If you want me to look up the names of the chemicals or tell the stories. I mean, there's not, I mean, like today, this morning, I had a little rant myself because I thought about, like, I was eating that biscuit and I didn't realize it came from St. Albans, not Charleston. I was thinking here in Spring Hill. And because I don't have health insurance, I thought, if I get sick, what will I do? And I mean, and there's people with, like, like medical issues that they can't afford any more ailments. I mean, I don't have any medical issues, but I don't have medical insurance, and I've had alternative surgeries. So if I get sick, they can decline me because I've had plastic surgery. When I did make money, I had gastric bypass. If I go to the hospital and I get sick, like you've been throwing up, they can say I have to go to a gastric bypass. I don't have health insurance, so I can go to the ER for free, not for free, but I don't have to pay them to walk in the door. But if I get sick and they refer me to a specialist, I have to pay out of pocket. I cannot afford to get sick. I don't have the money to pay a doctor to be seen.
What has tell us how you came to learn about the contamination from the Elk River, the water that West Virginia American Water is supplying to us, and the chemical that leaked from Freedom Industry.
My boyfriend came home and his mom called him and he turned the news on, because I don't watch the news. I think it's very depressing. I purposely turn a blind eye because of depression. From losing my job, I turn a blind eye to the news. And so he told me, so we started watching the news, and then when I didn't turn it on to smell it, everybody was talking about it, but again, I didn't want to take that chance of being sick, because I knew if it was airborne, we just didn't know, and I wasn't willing to take that chance. So the whole time, our water stayed off until they told us to flush. And I turned it on very quickly, and even then I didn't smell it. In fact, I didn't smell it until that one day when you called me and said, go smell it. I mean, I just didn't turn it on because I knew I wasn't going to take that chance.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that this water is safe now?
No, I don't bathe in it. I took a bath in a bucket yesterday, and I don't want to eat it. Again, I've got mental health issues from losing my good job in this valley and not being able to find work, not being able to properly take care of myself because I can't find good work. And so I can't take that chance. What will I do if I get sick? Like I said, I would be told if I did get sick, they'd probably take me into the ER, and then they would refer me to a specialist, and I don't have the money, and what would I do?
What do you think about there not being any inspection since 1991?
That doesn't surprise me, Mom. It's corporate greed. I worked for a corporate greedy company, Verizon, landline, and all that mattered was the dollar bill, and I sold my soul for almost 10 years. I feel uncomfortable looking in the eye camera, sorry. I'm trying my best to do it. I feel uncomfortable. I sold my soul for 10 years at Verizon, doing things about the bottom dollar. It's all that mattered. They wanted us to chew people up and just make money. It didn't matter how messed up their service was, that bottom dollar is all that mattered. And so I'm familiar with that, corporate greed. And it's not shocking.
Okay, what about other people that you know personally? Do they feel the water is safe?
I have about 750, 800 Facebook friends. Most of them are from Boone County, West Virginia. So they're coal mining again. That was their livelihood. And maybe two or 300 here in Charleston. A lot of artists, again, very liberal, and none of them feel safe. I mean, we're not ignorant. We don't want the coal mines to go away. We're not, and the people from Boone County, we're not blaming the coal mine. A lot of people are like, see, I told you the coal is bad. That chemical wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for the coal. Well, I know coal companies aren't innocent. But again, what are those people supposed to eat? So it's like everybody wants to start pointing fingers everywhere, and but none of them feel safe. Of all my friends, only one person, and I actually saw her yesterday, a dumb little girl, obviously, she wasn't a teenager, a young adult, said, well, why would West Virginia Water lie to us? And I just thought that was hilarious. Like, in her mind, she couldn't comprehend why a corporation would lie.
Mm-hmm. What do you think should be done in the future as far as putting safeguards in place? Or do you think that relocation of everyone?
I really don't know, because I don't like to speak without, like I said, it's always been the way it is. I feel very passionate about lots of subjects, and our environment is important to me, but never enough that I've educated myself like some of my artist friends have. I'm not ignorant about it, but at the same time, I don't read up on it. I just know what I've been told going to school, art school, been across from a chemical that killed people in Bhopal. I know I've read a little bit, but there's other things that was more, I mean, I know my health's important, but like there was other things that I'm more knowledgeable on. So what exactly to do, I couldn't tell you.
What do you think about the stores and the restaurants being open here?
I think that's scary, because I think there is a lot of ignorant people that would drink it. I know myself, like I said, everybody I see, the only thing they're doing on Facebook that they're telling me, my friends, and I know them personally too, not real well, but I know them well enough to know that they're telling the truth, is that they're only washing their clothes in it. Some of them are bathing, but very few, they're only washing their clothes and that's it. They're still, just drinking the water, and some of them actually did take bath showers. My boyfriend took a shower. I've seen several pictures come from people on their own phones that they're showing, look, every household has been different. Look what came out of my faucet. I was shown one last night that when they turned on the water, I don't know where they were, but it came out like this real thick black. It was my best friend. She worked with a girl and it happened to her. And I don't know where she lived, but it had black gunk in it. And then when it flushed, there was a pile of green, like, crap in the bottom of the sink.
You and I were collecting the water. Thank God for the rain, and thank God for sending you to help us to collect the rain water. But do you remember the river, the fog that was out there? Could you describe that for us?
It was this crazy color, and it was probably the effect with the coming off the river. Like the color that it had. Like, the fog was just because of the weather, but the color was probably from the chemical. And another thing that bothers people is our wildlife here. If somebody, like, we don't know what's going to happen. If someone eats a fish, or if the deer ate from, wherever this was, if animals eat that, and a lot of people hunt and fish around here, and they eat that, there's so many things to think about, what it's going to do to our land. How long is that going to stay in that river? We don't know. And that's sad that they allow them to produce a chemical that we didn't know what would happen if there was a leak. That's really, but again, I've referred, and a lot of people refer to this area as like a third world. It's like a third world. Countries like India, you do what you have to do to take care of your family. Don't mean you like it. Some people choose to say, I actually, now I'm thinking about it, I heard a couple of people tell me that they bathed in it the whole time. Swear my hand to God. Two or three of them told me. I swear to God. Yeah, they did.
Were they drunk?
No, they weren't drunk. They just said, well, what did it, that's how ignorant that they've tried to make, and some of us have gotten to that point, but it wasn't a lot. They did. They bathed in it. And the few that I knew said, well, nothing happened to me. But, you know, the couple that thought the water was clean and they bathed in it, I saw red rashes.
Well, they showing the man. Did you see the man on TV? His eyes swelled up, and his old lady just born.
So, Miss Braswell, thank you for joining in on the conversation.
I'm going to do some research because I want to find out what the chemical is that was in Bhopal.
Okay. Miss Braswell, could you tell us a little about your feelings about this water crisis situation?
I feel that it is a crisis, and everyone is not fully aware how deep the crisis is. The health department can't give them an okay, and they can't understand between the lines that the water company is telling you everything is fine. But I'm looking at TV, and I see others have a reaction after using the water. I'm not from here. I'm from the Midwest, where seldom is heard a discouraging word. And this is very discouraging to me, where I don't want to be here.
And so you're thinking of relocating?
I would love to relocate. I really would.
It's really sad and scary, you know.
I really would. I'm going to be 75. I want to finish with the foster grandparent and help the children, but I can't do nothing if I'm down and to help anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to relocate. And I wish the government would relocate me.
It's sad because everybody has their own fear and every situation is different. I mean, some women are pregnant. What do? Some people are elder. They don't have cars. Some people like me don't have health insurance and mental issues. I mean, it's not like it's a blanket fix for everyone. Everyone has a different situation. It's like dealing with life on its own is hard enough, and now you can't even bathe or eat.
That's right.
This has been declared a state of emergency. Have you all heard FEMA come talk to you? Anybody know anything about
I know no one that's been talked
locations
to.
for the FEMA?
I haven't even seen the garbage man. That's no FEMA, okay? I haven't seen nobody. Look like the garbage people. They come around to collect your garbage. I seen them all stacked. That somebody could have left a case of water on my door, but nobody did.
That's why I brought Buck, because I knew you all didn't have cars.
Right.
I don't have a car, but I do.
Right.
And of all your families, I mean,
Right.
there's like how many households in your extended family? There's one car,
There
and
you
and
go.
how do you? And they're only given one case
And
of
if
water.
it wasn't for age, I couldn't have been all washed up because I believe God's spring water. And I washed up and I'm smelling good. And
But you know there
I
had to
want
be some
to
of that
relook
chemical in that spring water, because if it's in the air and we can smell it and the rain came down, it had to be somewhat affected, not as bad. I mean, there's no way that none of us has not some way or another ingested this, even at this point, even if none of that water has gone in my mouth or on my skin. Okay, none of it has. But how could it not be in my body? I mean, I breathed the air. I saw the fog like she did. I mean, you could smell it. And there's an article I want to show you of a gentleman who did a piece. He came down. He grew up in this area, and he writes online articles online. And he come to bring from up north of West Virginia. And the moment he got right here in the interstate where the water company is, the smell of licorice took his breath away. It was coming in through the vents. So we were here. You know how, like, if you've ever been in your home and you cook fish and you don't smell it, but you go out for a couple hours and you come home and you open the door and you're like, whoa! We were right here in it. So it probably, we got used to it probably. It didn't even, and we could tell it, but to a stranger who was driving through town, it probably was like, holy, what in the world? I mean, think about that. You get used to a smell.
I'm getting so I don't have to want to flush the toilet now. You know, because I don't know the water.
Like, is it going to stir up?
And my smell and stuff, what I did, I'm trying to use the toilet.
Yeah, that's the only thing I did was flush the toilet, and I didn't smell it till that day. And I went in and without even thinking, turned it on, and I was like, oh, I wasn't thinking. Like I put mine, I was like, oh my God. I mean, I hadn't turned it on. We flushed, and I really didn't stay in the room because once we started the flushing, I came across the road to come tell you all it was time to flush. so I went and stayed. I just let it run and then came back and turned it off.
Yeah, I would love the government or somebody to relocate me.
And I think I probably could have smelled it stronger in the house, but my boyfriend smokes, and cigarette smoke, I'm kind of sensitive to it. Like, so the house to me always smells like smoke. But if I'd have been somewhere like in my home, I'm sure that smell would have just filled the room.
Right, and since you said smoking, I don't know if I'm smelling stuff. I don't know. It seems like I be smelling stuff coming out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm. It does make you. It makes you. Last night I went to a restaurant.
I don't know.
You don't know.
No, cause my stomach is already, And
then you have to question.
You see, you're not on the.
You have to question: is it nerves or being paranoia? You don't know. But like last night, I went to a restaurant and I love Diet Coke. I'm a Diet Coke junkie, and it was obvious that it was bad. I don't know if it was the ice. I took one sip and I was like, I need bottled water, please. And then I ate a little piece of food, but I was scared. Like as I was doing it, I was invited to a birthday party and I didn't want to be rude. But the whole time I'm thinking, am I going to get sick? I just can't take that chance.
I know. Okay.
And who can afford to go get all frozen food? I mean,
I just thank God I had a lots of meats already cooked. And today, the only thing I cooked was some shrimp. And they was easy, and I got shrimp fried rice.
And then here's another thing: the bottled sodas, I think they're bottled. I mean, like I said, you really fully don't have an education. You have to almost look into. I think there's Coke factories here and beer factories. What water are they using?
Do you think that it's a good idea to take the word of the American Water Company?
No, no. The lady on TV first thing this morning, that she was being interviewed. They said, "What would you say to the American Water?" She said, "What she would tell them. She can't say it on TV."
They're not taking the local news people's questions, and they're not answering in them. What do you think about that?
I think of course that's what they're going to say. How many pills or even cigarettes did in the beginning everybody said it's fine, and then several years later, or even a few months later, they go, oh, we were wrong, and now all of you got this wrong with you. Our bad, call it back. No, don't do that no more. Is this not going to be the same way? Until it's fully said and done and gone, and things start to settle down. We have no idea how it's going to affect us because they don't know. They didn't know, and they allowed the chemical to be made, and they allowed it to be stored here. They were careless. They leaked it into our water. The Freedom Company did. And West Virginia, why would you admit fault and take that chance of a liability? Not just them, but the Freedom. There's a lot of people that, and we're a lawsuits area because of the poverty. Everybody's looking to make a quick dime. And I understand why, but at the same time, being a company, if you admit fault, then that opens you up for all kinds of liabilities.
Think about the water company being the only people in the state that has access to the testing kit.
I saw that on the news, like some people wouldn't know how they could test their own water.
And that was a scam, and the health department said it's not a testing in the whole state that we have.
I think that how do I know what they said is true? If they don't know that much about the chemical, how do I not know that it didn't seep into the metal that's providing us with water, and the plastic, any form of the copper, whatever type of lines that it comes through?
And the ground.
And the ground.
That's
and
what
the earth.
got me. If it's seeped in the earth, how you gonna snatch and test all of this shit ground?
And I'd like to get an idea of like how 1,500 gallons is what they're saying. Okay, it could have been more, it could have been less. How, like if I was to put that into a swimming pool, I'd like to get a visual of exactly how much of that chemical that is. Like, what size pool would it be? 4 feet tall by 6 feet around? And all that got distributed through us. How much strychnine does it take to kill a person? How much rat poisoning? Just a few drops. They have like
not that much,
right?
Yeah.
So 1,500 is a lot to 3,000 people, 300,000 people. Over how many people they said was affected, and they say it's diluted by 300,000. And they say and it's probably more than that. They're probably lying about how many people are affected.
Right. It's probably 500,000.
And but a speck of poison diluted in water could kill all three of us. So even though there's that percentage, they don't know what it does to us. Is it going to cause cancer? Is it going to cause defects? I mean, we don't know.
Well, the only somebody that I trust is the Lord. Because I have to.
Mm-hmm.
Because He's the same yesterday and today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel that He favored and let me be alive today.
Mm-hmm.
So, until I hear His report, I don't trust man.
There, it was said that Freedom Industry had a second plant in Nitro, in that there were at least 5 violations that were cited there, in that the plant had been taken over recently by them, but there was a plant there before them that had a lot of violations. Mm-hmm. So anything could have came into the system through that.
A lot of things like that, when it happens, is real hush hush. Because again, if they get in trouble and they can't provide the coal companies with the chemicals or whatever type of chemical it is that's been made, they're like, they make you feel as an employee. You know, I've never worked for a chemical company, but I have personal friends who have. They make you feel like this can't be known, because then what will happen? Like they make you weigh the pros and cons, and the fear of your family not being able to eat is so great that you know, look at all the people it's going to affect. You know, they want you just to suck. It's almost like you're being abused. You're being abused by a corporation, like you would, like if you were a woman or a child been abused. Like, shh. Because if you tell, they'll take you away. You know, mommy, if you tell, you know, daddy or mommy's beating you, they're going to take you away. What will happen to your sisters? You know, things like that. But that's what it's like. Shh, don't tell. You know there was a leak and you know there was some trouble. But, you know, if you bitch too much, look what's going to happen. You'll lose your job.
Since this has been known as Chemical Valley, and I heard that the Russians, it was a target during the war for the Russians because of all the chemical plants here. Do you think that Homeland Security should have been involved in some of these decisions that were being made?
I think that, I just watched the news briefly, and I did see some dude that had the title of Homeland Security. To what degree, again, I don't know, because that's not something that I have a whole lot of knowledge on. But yes, absolutely, that is a fact, that because they knew if they hit us, like I told you, within a 3-hour radius, that any chemical could wipe us all out. So, that was known. And remember 9/11, when that plane went down, it was in Pittsburgh. We don't know where they, or up near Pennsylvania. I don't know what they were, but it's just probably fear. To what degree? But that possibility is there. All they'd have to do is drop something or hit something or leak something, and then that's all it would take.
Well, has FEMA or anybody ever mentioned about relocating people here to someplace that's okay? Just say, well, the people stayed here in the valley and it was chemical way before we even got it. And they said, well, we're going to take you maybe to Oklahoma or Montana. They never suggest relocating people thousands of miles away.
I've not heard anything, but I know me personally, and I know my parents, and I know the family, my distant family, and the people, friends. We wouldn't relocate, because then it would be like New Orleans. Okay, you want me to pick up and leave my stuff, and the people that would stay here, nothing would be left. Our material goods would be destroyed. Everything we've worked for our whole life, our homes, our properties, it would be destroyed. Who do you think that people's not going to break into homes and do that? So again, we would sacrifice our ultimate health because of material wealth. And it's sad and it don't make sense, but you know that would happen. And then, but I can't help but think on our deathbed that, you would regret moments like that. But how many people are going to up and take off, and because you know it would never be there.
What about the drug problem?
Is there drugs? Hillbilly, what do they call hillbilly heroin? Pain pills. Pain pills are rampant here because of all the hard jobs, like the coal mines and the chemicals. forklifts, men driving trucks, things like that. So they started getting hurt, legitimately working men. And the next thing you know, pain pills have just gone rampant. And they call it hillbilly heroin. And, you know, I'm 41. Most people I know went to high school. You know, they worked hard, but by the time they had kids and their kids, because, you know, I am old enough to be a grandma. I'm not a grandma, but by the time their kids came around, the drugs, there is no more working force. West Virginia was known to have hard, honest workers when I grew up. If you had a job, you did your best. When no one was looking, you still did your best. You taught that. That was instilled in me. And in the last 20 years, I have seen a generation of no-goods come about. I can understand, and I have empathy for men and women who have been physically injured and accidentally became addicted to pain medicine because they were legitimately injured. And I have empathy for them. But in the last 5 to 10 years, I have met people who their parents didn't work, they don't work, and here they are on pain pills. And now, when they did all the changing in the pain pills, I guess there was a formulation to change it so they couldn't do whatever they were shooting it up or putting it up their nose, that now heroin is rampant. And this area, especially Huntington, is known for people from Detroit to come down here and bring heroin here because they know that they just want to be numb. So as an area, it's really sad. I've seen a change in West Virginia because at one time we were known to be good, honest, hardworking folk. And now I wouldn't leave this area because I know what would happen. I see them all day long, walking around, no jobs, just looking to score stuff and willing to slight anybody to get what they need. And I know, I'm sure it's not like a big city, but there's more of it. It's like concentrated, and it's sad.
Was there one that you think that agency around here that we could get with that could maybe what I would like is relocation? Is anybody you think would?
I mean, all these people, it's only time's going to tell. I mean, I don't have any answers but only time would tell.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Is there one thing that you would like to leave the people with who may watch this video?
Keep the faith.
I think it's sad. If you live in an area where you have good jobs and you have choices, be grateful, because we don't. And it's very sad. It's very depressing. I mean, just trying to make ends meet. And now, because of the other people who do have good jobs working for the coal companies and the chemical companies, the few that do have it, now look what's going to happen. It's a bad situation no matter how you look at it. There's people's families that and they made a crappy chemical, it's just bad, and always bad for us, bad for them. It's just, be grateful. If you live in an area where you have good jobs, be grateful.
And keep the faith. My belief, the best is yes.
Thank you so much for listening. And this is Grandma Angela Waters. I'm God's female servant. We will be out in the community a little more later on today. And please stay tuned. Thank you.